This video series is Integrated Financial Planning, Developing Effective Financial Plans. We're looking at financial planning frameworks and processes, and in this video we're going to drill down into the financial planning area of financial management. Starting with just a quick review of the 6 financial planning components or areas. Number 1 is financial management, and that's the topic for this video today. You can see in the center of the wheel here, financial management. Number 2 is investment planning. Number 3 is insurance and risk management. Number 4 is retirement planning. Number 5 is tax planning. And number 6 is estate planning. So we're going to do an individual video for each of these financial planning areas, because you can see for each area there's the collection of information, the analysis of information, and then finally the recommendation. And you can see that the collection of information is broken down into 2 areas. Number 1 is gathers and prepares quantitative information. Number 2 is gathers qualitative information. Similarly, when we get into the analysis, there's 2 sections. Number 1 is assess the client's situation, and number 2 is considers and evaluate strategy. And then finally, we get into the recommendation. So we're going to do this for each of these 6 financial planning components. Now, a sharp set of eyes might have seen that I've listed investment planning second, but over here on the wheel, the actual order, if you're going clockwise, is financial management, insurance and risk management, and investment planning. And the reason why I did that is that if you look at the competency graphic, you can see that they have financial management, followed by the investment planning, then the insurance risk management. So I just put these, the list of the 6 financial planning components, not matching the wheel, but matching the competency graphic. And that's the way that we're going to scroll through it. Another sharp set of eyes may have seen that sometimes I used to refer to it as asset management. Now it's really called investment planning. But sometimes, this is a key point to point out in finance, you see different words that are really meaning the same thing. So again, as now we're going to jump into this financial management in a little bit more detail. This competency graphic is really just the summary. And if we go to the other document that has the 54 pages that we looked in the previous video and we're going to look at again, it's going to give us a little bit more information. So you can see here, we'll just run through the summary very quickly. 1.1 gathers and prepares quantitative information. So what does that mean for financial management? Well, 1.101 collects information regarding the client's assets and liabilities. 1.102 collects information regarding client's current and projected cash flow. 1.103 is prepares statements of client's net worth and cash flow. Okay. Then in terms of the qualitative information, 1.201 determines client's experience, attitudes, biases, and objectives regarding saving and spending. 1.202 is determines client's experience, attitudes, biases, and objectives regarding credit and debt. And finally, 1.203 is determines the client's desired lifestyle. Okay, so you can see for this is the collection, the analysis, and the recommendation. There's some elements, some things that are included, and it's a long list as we run through the 6 topic areas. I'm going to show you something that I created that sort of helped that can help sort of study and make your way through it as well. Okay, what we're looking at here is that I've created a mind map using the free Google software of MindMap, and it's just a technique that I've used to take that graphic and from the competency graphic and just put it into a different format that creates a bit of a visual. So instead of just scrolling through an Excel sheet or that PDF document that has columns and rows, I just took the data and put it into a different format. And this is something that I do when I'm trying to go through and memorize, but not only memorize, but better understand something. If you're a visual learner, sometimes you look for different tools or techniques like flashcards. In this case, there's, as I showed in that competency graphic, there's a lot of data in that table, and I just put it into a bit of a different format. So if I zoom out here, you can see that this is my mind map that I've created for that integrated financial plan. Okay, and specifically, we're going to be zooming in to the area here of financial management. And we're going to be able to take a closer look as we go through the collection, the analysis, and the recommendations feeding into the financial management. Okay. One of the things that I like about the mind map is that you can collapse the nodes, you can color code them, you can attach documents. So by working with the data, it just helps you get a little bit of a better handle on it. So here, starting with the collection, if I reveal one level, you can see, again, you should be well familiar that we're going to gather the quantitative information, 1.1, 2 steps to the collection, and we're going to gather the qualitative information, okay? So if I expand that a little bit more, here we can see that what we were going through in terms of that table, 1.101 collects information regarding the client's assets and liabilities, collects information regarding the current and projected cash flow, prepares statement of net worth and cash flow, so that's on the quantitative information, moving down here to the qualitative information, determining the client's experience, attitudes, biases, and objectives regarding saving and spending. 1.202 determines the client's experience, attitudes, biases, objectives regarding credit and debt. And finally, 1.203 determines the client's desired lifestyle. So moving over here to the analysis, you can see there's 2 parts to it: assess the client situation, and then identifying and evaluating strategies. So again, I can reveal the levels. So in terms of assessing the client situation, characteristics of the client's assets and liabilities, determines whether the client is living within financial means. 2.103 is capacity to sustain an emergency. 104 is calculates the amount required to meet financial management objectives. And the fifth element for assessing the client's situation in terms of the analysis is identifies conflicting demands on current and projected cash flows. So now if I move down to this part of the mind map, we're under the section of analysis, 2.2, identifying and evaluate strategies. Again, I can reveal the levels. 2.201 considers potential cash flow strategies. 2.202 considers potential credit and debt management strategies. 2.203 considers potential saving strategies. And again, the reason why we call it an integrated financial plan is that if you can't save money, you can't invest it. So as we move from the, that's why we start with the financial management, looking at a client's cash flow, and there are biases and objectives regarding saving and spending, because you can't invest if you can't save. Okay, so that's why it's an integrated financial plan, and it starts with the financial management. That's 101. 2.204 is assesses impact of potential changes in income and expenses. 2.205 evaluates advantages and disadvantages of each financial management strategy, and then you prioritize the client's financial management objectives and needs. And finally, we're going through this process of collecting and analyzing the information because ultimately we want to make the recommendation in terms of financial management. And you can see there's 3 elements there. Is formulates financial management strategies. 3.102 is recommends optimal financial management strategies. And 3.103, these are the recommendations that you're making to the client. You're formulating the strategy, you're recommending it, and you're prioritizing the action steps to assist the client in implementing the financial management strategies. Okay, so again, that's just the quick overview of the graphic. What we want to do then to better understand, and we're not going to go through each one of these steps 100%, but I'm going to show you this is my process. I start with a competency graphic, I put it into a mind map so I could better work my way through these different elements, and then I'm going to go into that 54-page document that gives me more information and kind of read through each of these steps, each of these elements, and gain a little bit of additional information there. So that's what we're going to look at next. So the document that you want to next look at is the FP Canada Standards Council, the competency profile, which is that 54-page document that's got more information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down now to the section on financial management. So here I am on the section for financial management, so it gives you a little bit more information. Financial management, of course, focuses on the client's current and future financial position, including the use of cash flow and the development of a cash flow statement the establishment and use of savings, as well as use of credit and repayment of debt. The client's financial position is characterized by current and projected cash flow and net worth, and will reflect the client's inclination to spend, save, and borrow. It is important for FP Canada certificates, or CFP certificates in general, to consider the integration of financial management with other financial planning areas, since decisions made in this area will impact and be impacted by other key financial planning goals and strategies. For example, cash management will need to account for various goals, such as providing for the client's children's education over the next 4 years, retiring in 10 years, or leaving a sizable estate. Every family and client and individual is unique. So those, again, we're starting with the client's goals, objectives, dreams, and we're starting to work our way through it, what we need to do to attain that. So again, just scrolling through, we're not going to read through these one by one. That'll take too long, but I'm showing you what the process is that I go through to help work my way through this material. So again, here's the section for gathers and prepares the client's information, 1.101, 1.102, 1.103. Scrolling to the next page, you can see gathers qualitative information, determines the client's experience, attitudes, biases, and objectives regarding savings and spending. So if we look at that one, FP Canada certificates discuss with the client any experiences that would impact the client's attitudes, biases, and objectives around savings and spending. For example, if FP Canada certificates identify a monthly cash flow shortfall, they should discuss this with the client to determine needs and spending habits. In helping the client recognize why the monthly shortfall occurs, FP Canada certificates can discuss spending behaviors that may require change and other steps that can be taken to create a positive cash flow. So you can see some of the gathering of data might be done electronically, but really you can see that that's why we talk about the financial planner skills. You can see here when we're gathering the qualitative information, we're talking about discussions with the client and talking about behaviors that require change. So you've got these coaching skills, communication skills. And that's why when we look at this integrated financial planning, there's a lot that goes into it, okay? So 1.202, attitudes and objectives regarding credit and debt. And finally, determining the client's desired lifestyle. That's what it's all about. FP Canada certificates may ask the client's preferences regarding the type of home, living arrangements, activities, vacations, and travel. And then we get into the analysis, all those elements. And then finally, considering and evaluating the strategies. And then really the key point is that we're getting into the recommendations, okay? So 3.101, formulating the financial management strategies, recommending optimal financial management strategies, and prioritizing the steps to assist the client in implementing the financial management strategies. So again, if we're looking into the, ultimately the integrated financial plan, this is the background information. What's going to be in the plan is ultimately the recommendations, the things that you've worked through with the client. Okay, so in terms of looking at this last one, prioritizes steps to assist the client in implementing financial management recommendations. What is a little bit more information? FP Canada certificates outlines to the client what steps need to be done first in order to action the financial management recommendations. For example, to meet the client's objectives of mortgage reduction, FP Canada certificates may advise that switching payments from monthly to biweekly is the first step in helping the client understand how to make the change. And that's why if you look through the financial planning steps, there's a review step. There might be a meeting, a quarterly meeting or an annual meeting, semi-annual meeting. You might follow up with the client and see if that was the recommendation, switching payments from monthly to biweekly. Well, has it happened? If it hasn't happened, then maybe there's some further coaching or discussion that needs to be done. And that's why financial planning is very much an exercise between the client and the financial planner. Okay, we're really wrapping up the conclusion of this video, looking at the financial planning area of financial management. So again, we didn't go through all the different elements and all the steps and explaining them all because there's a lot, but rather I was just giving you a good overview of my process. So again, I started here with the professional competency profile. I like the one-page summary, so you can see for financial management, the collection stage gathers and prepares quantitative information, gathers qualitative information. We move into the analysis where we assess the client situation and we consider and evaluate different strategies. And then ultimately, the most important is that we're developing recommendations to help optimize the client's situation. So this is a pretty long list with columns and rows. What did I do that to help assist my understanding, better understand it? I created a mind map using mind map software, a Google application. So here was my mind map, and I like to do this because, as I said, I can collapse and expand the rows. So here the collecting the quantitative information. Well, what is that made up of? Regarding assets and liabilities, current and projected cash flow, and preparing the statement of net cash flow. Again, it's just a tool that I use to help me better comprehend the information. Then ultimately, again, this is still at the summary level. So if I want to further expand my information, what I did is I went into that 54-page FP Canada competency profile, the extended version, and I could drill down and look at further information to assist my understanding. So for example, if I wanted to better understand what's under here, 2.202 considers potential debt, potential credit and debt management strategies. Well, I would go into that document and see what they have to say with regards to that element. So you can see here, I'm under the 2.2, considers and evaluates strategies. Again, my one-page graphic or my mind map is really just showing a visual representation of these elements. But if I want more information, 2.202 considers potential credit and debt management strategies. What are they saying in this document? FB Canada certificates evaluate available options around managing the use of credit and payment of debt to meet the client's needs and objectives. This may include the assessment of a debt consolidation plan where several higher interest loans can be combined into one loan that carries a lower interest rate, allowing for more cash flow available that can be directed to the payment of the debt balance. Okay, so you can see a lot of information here, and what I was trying to do is just show you a structure and a process, how to approach these different frameworks to help you better absorb it. Okay. And really, that's the kind of the conclusion, what I wanted to show you with regards to financial management. And that is the conclusion of this video on the financial planning area of financial management. This is part of the video series on integrated financial planning, developing effective financial plans. And as you can see, we've been looking at different financial planning frameworks and processes. So I just took you through a process, not all the details, but basically my process of how I work my way through, wade my through the information to better memorize and comprehend it. So thank you very much.